welcome back to Formula Debrief. Paige is not here with me today, unfortunately, but no worries because we have a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
But I am a content creator on YouTube under the name All About Steph One, and that's kind of where my journey has begun in this industry. So now I am a presenter, but I tend to focus on motorsports. So yeah, that's what that's how I kind of have ended up where I am today, I guess you could say.
What for you does it mean to be like a Black creator? Is it a case of like you are just a creator, or it's like I am a Black creator in a sphere where there aren't many Black creators and that's something that's kind of a larger part of your identity, or is it just a sort of meh?
It's interesting actually, because I know that it's there, but as a Black creator, it's never really been a point of contention during my kind of time as a content creator. I've always kind of felt more called out by the fact that I'm a woman rather than being somebody who is Black, but I am very acutely aware of the fact there aren't many Black creators. And you know what is so great is the fact that there's been this huge boom, especially of Black creators in the last year or so, because I remember being kind of one of the first Black creators on the platform, and the reason that I kind of started my YouTube channel was as well because I didn't see any of the representation anywhere. The only Black YouTube creator that I knew of was Cranky Yankee at the time. So I decided, you know what, I have to, even if there's one person out there that watches my videos and thinks I can see myself in her, then that's fine. I've done something good and worthwhile with my channel. So that's definitely something that I thought about in the beginning. And there was actually really, really funny. I was doing race reviews last year, and I did a review at after the Hungarian Grand Prix, and I like burst into tears because of the way that everyone was kind of racially abusing Lewis Hamilton, because that was, We Races One was a huge thing at that point, and I burst into tears, and then my video file corrupted. So I was like, okay, right, that's probably for the best. Nobody's gonna see me crying over the fact that I'm so upset about this racism that's going on. And then the rest of my video was fine, it got put out, and I was like, do you know what, it's difficult being in this kind of world, and it's difficult to talk about it, and I don't think I've ever focused on my channel about it, but I'd like to focus more on it, because I think, promoting Black creators and being in this sphere with so many incredible Black creators and creators of color, I just think it's fantastic. And we all, as the minority community, I think we're so great at boosting each other up, and it's a really loving community within the Black creator sphere. So yeah, it's been positive for me so far. I know it probably won't always be positive kind of going forward, and I'm prepared. I'm more than aware of the fact that there will be people who don't agree or don't want me to talk about this stuff, and that's fine, because I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, I feel that. And it's quite interesting actually that you sort of mentioned the women thing, because I think intersectionality is another thing that isn't always sort of discussed. It's a case of sort of women versus men, like Black versus white type, but actually looking at a sort of hierarchy, you then end up with Black women in a situation where they're fighting from both corners. Mm-hmm. And it is just that sort of thing of like, okay, so we've got women in, but what representation of women? Is it the sort of women that we've been seeing sort of in the background generally, or is it women that we just don't see on the screen? And I think that's also been another thing. There's been, like you said, an increase in diversity in women as well that have been coming onto the screen, which is like a really nice thing, because although I'm now in my 20s, at least I know that for the younger generation there is someone, and for me, and it was Lewis, but for them, they can now look up and they can see people on the screen that look like them. And it then becomes, although it's still aspirational, it becomes a more attainable aspirational rather than a I want to go to space and NASA type. It's more of a case of like, okay, well, if I work hard, I can get there. So, and again, I'm not saying people can't 100%. Go to space. It's just a lot harder.
Yeah.